Well, thanks for staying with us as we look set to begin the conversations around issues in the news this morning. Our guest, Samuel Egboja, joins us virtually from Makurdi, Benue State. Hello, Mr. Samuel. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Morning. Morning.
Before we get into the conversations, I would like to extend our sincere sympathies to the people of Benue over the Awata killings, and just to express our sense of empathy as well.
Thank you.
Now, my very first question is off the back of the news that the Chief of Army Staff had been redeployed to Benue before this fresh killings. How would you analyze the redeployment and the fact that despite that, the killings have been unabated?
Well, I think I read on the news yesterday, lately, after we went all out to protest, we saw a statement from the presidency signed by information by and when I went through that press release, it was actually quite disheartening for the presidency to come up with that kind of thing, that they had reached an agreement before. So we want to ask them, who were part of that? Who were part of those people that reached that agreement? And they keep referring to faction. That is what the president said. That the various factions to go on a reconciliatory meeting, and we are surprised. Where is it coming from? Who is fighting who in Benue? Well, these are some of the questions that are actually take serious answer.
You just mentioned that you were part of the youth who protested yesterday. Reports making the round also in that regard is that it was met by police resistance. Can you tell us what happened when you took to the streets to protest yesterday?
Well, I think I was a big fan, but I was coming back from the third, and I just happened to, fumble on them, and in solidarity, because it's all about Benue. It's not just people, right? We are all affected in Benue. And the governor came in, the deputy governor came in shortly after that, and he tried to address the people. Actually, he was bullied. Let's just that. And when the bullied the deputy governor, he demanded that just leaving, the security, activities around, trying to, move him around, whisk him away was as a result of the police exchanging tear gas and all. That was all played out.
Now,
to be done.
Carry on, we're listening.
Yeah. Yes, to be fast with ourselves. I think their action was not intentional. It wasn't meant to tear gas, citizens.
The other angle to this is the fact that in the press statements issued by the presidency, the president has also called on Governor Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia to lead mediations and reconciliations. Because about a week ago, we also saw him meeting with traditional leaders, the Ochidoma, the Totiv of Benue, and all the community leaders on ways to find a solution to this. How would you assess this effort so far?
Well, to be frank with you, let me be frank, right, because I'm not an APC person, but to the best of my knowledge,
I'm finding it difficult to hear you. Could you take that again?
Yeah. I say I am not a party man. I'm not in APC, I'm not in PDP, I'm not in APTA, I'm not in Labour Party. But I'll give you this information free that the governor is actually on his foot. The young man has been working tirelessly, including the betterment. He has also recorded a lot of mental strides over 2 years, no doubt. But in the area of security, there is more in the area of security. We know how federalism, we know how laws have been operated under federalism. The governor himself doesn't have the bilateral decision, power to make any statement concerning security. You and I will know that. The statement has to come from the presidency. And the president ordered that the chief of army staff will, do you know, the same day they came to Benue, they returned back the same day to Abuja. So why didn't they carry out the instruction that was given to them by the president in the first place? So you could also look at that from the angle, from the perspective of the president, where the president said they should go back and reevaluate and also carry out his first instruction. His first instruction. So when you say you have forces in Abuja trying to thwart the peace effort, you may not be wrong.
And I also hear an undertone of a hint at the politicization of this issue, because before you responded to the last question, you did say you're not a party man while giving kudos to the governor of the state. Do you think that the killings in Benue has taken some political coloration to it?
Say that again.
I'm asking if you think that the killings in Benue have an undertone of either ethnic cleansing or politicization.
Well, it's not far from what we are experiencing. Because remember what Abacha said. Any riot, any problem that lasted for more than 24 hours, then somebody somewhere is behind it. Are you getting the point? So I think from my own perspective, and I've been on ground for some time now, and I also give the information for free that when you say there are some people behind this, may not be far from the truth.
Now, I'd like to get a clearer picture on where you feel the flashpoints are more, because on the 4th of June, when the Chief of Army Staff first visited Benue, it was the issue in Gwe West, Apa, and now we have the issue now in Yawata in Guma. I don't know if I'm correct. How many local governments so far have been most affected by these Morudin headers?
Precisely, we have about 7 local governments that have been taken over by leaders.
7?
Or 7 local governments. Yes. Actually, we have Apan, we have Agatu, we have Guma, we have Way West, we have Way East. We have Kwandi. We have so many local governments that have been taken over by the hitmen.
Now, this issue is one that has also called for a lot of town hall meetings across board. With these 7 local governments on the siege, are there any remediation efforts on ground for the internally displaced persons, those who have been orphaned, widowed by this crisis?
Yes, I think I'm not the governor's spokesman or spokesperson, but I may not be able to give you the account of what they are doing to ensure that people, are well taken care of in the various homes connected to them. In terms of humanitarian privacy, I may not be in the better position to tell you people if that has been taken care of. But from the little, shallow information that I've gotten, provision has been made, and immediately after the attack, in the water, the state government actually deployed vehicles there, evacuating a lot of people from there.
Now, let's leave the Benue issue and come to all the national issues of concern making the rounds this morning. The first one is one that is tied towards projections going into 2027. Reports making the round is that there is a little bit of role in the joint ticket for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his vice, Tinubu-Shettima. Following the North-East APC stakeholders meeting, it's on the fact that there was a snub and non-mention of the VP's name that led the summit into a chaotic ending. What do you see? Because this is not the first time. If you recall, the presidency had issued a statement saying that the working relationship between the president and his vice have nothing against each other. But with these issues boiling up, what do you foresee into this story making the round?
Yeah, I sincerely speaking, there have been a lot of series of past weeks, but it's coming way too early. I must have to give it. It's coming too early, but way too early. And it also makes me to also, let me also give you this information that the reality on ground, people who are suffering, you and I will know there's a reality on that. And the next voting is going to take cognizance of that. And let me also give you information. And that also takes us to the issue of coalition that is ongoing. It's not just a normal coalition. It's going to be, there's a problem looming for the president if right steps are not taken. For instance, you can't do this alone. And that is why some of his cabinet members are agreed. Right? It's all played out. Even people defecting from appointment from data, from the government defected, and the rest, some of the government are refused to follow in. And also some of the commissioners are also, some of them resigned. Because they believe so much that once you defect to APC, your sins are forgiven. So even within, the circle of APC, they knew that something bigger than them is coming up. And let me also give you this information that if the entire governors defects to APC today, and Tinubu made his son, he is still going to plunge himself in a series of problems because of the reality on that.
Now, I'm still talking about the APC North-East Summit. We did see images circulating across social media where it became rowdy. Chairs were being thrown across the room. Whilst the three North-East governors ended their speeches endorsing the president and his vice, it almost seems as though that there wasn't a mission in the joint consensus that the APC going into 2027 will still run with a joint ticket. Why do you think that there has been a purported fallout in this agreement to see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his vice both go on a joint ticket for a second term?
Well, I think also I read on the platform where the vice president actually made some comment as regards that. According that the work has been taken, that his own work has been taken by the president's son. So I am not sure the ticket is going to work out anymore. And you need the implication of that. The implication election is that the center is more weakened, and once there is no agreement, you knew what played out during Jonathan, government transition. So I think the same thing may also play out.
I don't know if this is in reference to the comments made by Senator Ali Ndume, who referenced the fact that despite having a majority of state governors, the then Jonathan's ambition for a second term was mad owing to certain non-agreements within the party structure. Are you also alleging that these endorsements and the campaigns might be most affected by a lack of consensus on the joint ticket?
Yeah, let me tell you something. Let me give you some information that they are just concerned with President Tinubu's. They are not happy with it. Nobody is happy. Even his ministers. Let me just give you that information. They are not. Nobody is happy with the policy. But they are just trying to manage the situation so that they can return back to the power. Some of the governors, some of the House of Rep members, some of the senators that are defecting to APC, they are doing that based on the scale of the unknown. And some of them are supposed to looted the national treasury so much that the only way they can escape that is to join the APC. So 2027 is going to be an interesting election.
Now, still on 2027, there's also been talks about the need for a mega party. That's the only way that the APC can be rivaled. With mergers between more parties, the ADC had been looked at as that platform for other parties to converse on this mega party that they need to go into the election circle with. What do you see in that regard? How do the oppositions get their camp in order going into 2027?
You remember the story of Potiphar and Pontius Pilate, right?
Carry on.
Hello.
Yes, I'm with you. Carry on.
Remember the story of the Potiphar and the Pontius Pilate? They were perceived enemies, but they came together for the fact that they wanted to crucify Jesus Christ. So that conspiracy theory came together to conspire, and they were able to carry out, the exercise, and and at the end of the day, they were able to achieve their goal. So what we are saying is that those people forming the coalition of different parties, they may not be friends in the real sense of the word. They may not be close to. But for the fact they want to bring the young Tinubu political, they have come together. And that is why the coalition we are experiencing this time around is quite different from what we had in 2015 in Nigerian political history.
Now let's move on to another news coming in this morning as it affects fuel distribution in Nigeria. Now, August 15 is being looked at as a D-Day, with Dangote set to revolutionize fuel distribution across the country. He's saying that there will be free distributions, and he's also purchased 4,000 CNG trucks to boost this. What do you make of Dangote's influence in the downstream sector now?
Yeah, I think his involvement, initially there were a lot of issues between him and the presidency, and all that was resolved. And I think they have given him a level playing ground now. There's little involvement of government talking about interference in the downstream sector of the economy. But I also want to say that Dangote also needs to do a whole lot, because we also read on some forum that there's going to be a fuel scarcity if the tankers drivers are not their intentions are not better, or their earnings are not met. So we are also hoping that there should be a reduction in the petroleum prices or PMS prices. There should be a little reduction on it, and also make it available for the entire Nigerians.
Now, there's an interesting notice from Dangote Refinery. It was earlier captured on one of our newspapers, the Vanguard. And the initiative is also going to see credit facilities for bulk buyers supported with a bank guarantee. So the catch is that if you purchase a minimum of 500,000 liters, you'd get another 500,000 liters on credit for 2 weeks on the bank guarantee. Do you see this as a massive marketing strategy? It looks like he's looking to take up a majority of the Petrol Marketers Association's preference in sourcing for products now.
Yeah, I think that is a great market strategy from the Dangote Group company. And if they can actually sustain that, it's going to be a great win-win for all, for him and also the entire. Now I'm also always if that could be sustained.
Now, talking about the sustainability, it's interesting that he also issues a thank you notice to the president for the Naira for Crude scheme as part of the sustaining part of this. You know, the first batch of the Naira for Crude deal did suffer quite a setback before it was swiftly attended to by the government. Going forward, it's also with the competing international global oil prices. How do you judge that the government prioritizes sales to Dangote in Naira vis-a-vis the global price of oil in dollars?
Well, I think I'm pretty sure the expert in that sector must have also given the presidency statistics to implement that, because I'm sure that the presidency may not get themselves entangled in a web of financial confusion that won't be beneficial to them and also to Nigeria. So I'm also very sure that they have also put up a positive and well-friendly mechanism to cushion any negative effects that the result of that policy.
Now, away from that, our second issue in the news now is quite on electricity distribution in Nigeria. Quite recently, owing to the epileptic nature of the power grid, there have been big multinationals and even the presidential villa seeking alternative energy sources. Now, the projection is that this revolution might also affect the discos in terms of their market share. In your fair knowledge of some of the issues with our power sector, particularly when it comes to electricity distribution, how would you analyze the progress so far?
It has been what the policy that has to do with electricity distribution is like a merry-go-round kind of thing, where we keep bringing up policies on a daily basis and nothing will happen. I think we should, or the presidency should, as a matter of urgency, if they want to diversify, they don't want to the traditional energy supply, should do that as far as possible. They should put the right thing, put the right people in the right place, and ensure that the policies they are, coming up on a daily basis should see the light of the day. As a matter of fact, you and I know also that this issue has been a recurring dilemma, and without electricity, constant electricity supply, the economy is going to negatively affect it. So I'm also back to the point that they should devise as an alternative means of power supply that will be accessible, by all Nigerians.
Now, talking about putting the right persons in the right place, a lot of persons have been quite critical of the performance of the Minister of Power. I don't know if that statement you made is in that regard as well. What's your opinion of his performance in the 2 years he's been in office thus far?
There are so many ministries under Tinubu's administration that we don't even know whether they still exist. This very one is one of them. There are so many of them that we Nigerians, we don't even know they exist. So I don't know whether they are, media shy or whether they don't have anything to offer. It were to be in a, civilized society, not in our climate. Resign from the go because they are not having any fault with the administration.
Now, I'm talking about alternative energy as well. Nigeria had just launched one of the largest lithium processing plants in Nasarawa, and the alternative that is readily available, particularly for SMEs, is solar-powered alternatives. Now, with this lithium deposit in Nigeria, do you think that the federal government should also become a player in the solar-powered industry for Nigeria as an alternative means beyond the street lights that are provided in that regard, to have solar-powered energy distributed into Nigerian homes or for select businesses in market spaces?
What happened at the, are you aware that presently that the seat of power, talking about Villa, they have disconnected themselves from the traditional power supply. Are you aware of that?
They're also looking to install solar.
Are you aware that they are using solar right now?
Do you think that initiative should also be broadened to Nigerians, not just for the presidential villa?
Exactly, not just for the presidential villa. That's what we are saying. The same thing, they have, the capacity. We have the capacity. We have the capacity. Take up alternative power to all the houses, companies. You can start. You can grade it into A, B, C. If you want to start with companies, you can start with companies. If you want to start with individual homes, you can do that. Then you move. Once you're done with the A, you move to say B to C as a first. And you do away with the traditional electricity supply, and that is taking us back on a daily basis.
Now let's move on to stories of international concern, leaving Nigeria out of it. It's been quite saddening that the Israel-Iran war has been renewed with hostilities and conflicts that have also affected the global oil markets. In line with this, it's also on the accusations being thrown to the US of having vetoed the Israeli planned attack on Iran's supreme leader. What do you make of this global conflicts and the need to have peace across the globe?
Yeah, the global crisis also has, affecting us, locally. So whether you like it or not, the experts in security will tell you that the global crisis is also part of, can also be attributed to some of the local crises experienced in sub-Saharan Africa, also, because the war and the conflict has also been divided into, the two major religions, world, and that calls for a serious concern. And we're saying that in every situation, every conflict situation, there are also, you can also rule out a possibility of interest. People trying to exercise their interest over the other and all that. Look at the case of Ukraine and Russia. So it's just all about selfish interest. And we are saying that the US should also, as a matter of urgency, try to mediate and come up with hopefully we're praying that the Donald Trump-led administration will come up with a lasting solution to the Iranian crisis as fast as possible. So that is our prayer.
Now, talking about the Trump administration, there's also the issue of travel ban, which Nigeria and 35 other countries are at a risk of being included in. How would you analyze Trump's travel bans and also his trade tariff wars?
Well, there's nothing we can say. There's nothing we can do. There's no appeal we'll make right now, but that is his own foreign policy, and these are some of the core tenets of foreign policy. If you actually go through his speech when he was elected, he said that it's going to be all about America, the liquid gold. He mentioned the liquid, and he also said that he's going to all out to preserve the gold in America, and that the policy from that moment centers on America and America alone. So according to him, it has to be done for any other country. So most of the policy, the travel ban, the visa and all that, you don't meant to, it's actually aligned with his own national policy, foreign policy as a case. So it's all left for us now. We can also, learn from them. Like Kenya, they have also devised a means. They also told the Americans, before you come to Kenya, you must also secure a visa before you come to our country. So Nigeria, as a third world country, should also developing also have a robust foreign policy that the people should also be afraid of, and we should, as
Now, talking about Nigeria, I know before this travel ban imposement and trade tariffs, we had discussed the effects of the Japa syndrome on our economy. Do you think that in some way this helps us refocus on getting our country working and ensuring that we're not at the receiving end of the brain drain?
Well, the Japa syndrome is not just starting, and it won't just end because of certain foreign policy. So when you ban Nigerians from going to America, we have Canada there, we have other continents, we have Russia. There is a series of opportunities. Most people are also living just to get to Russia and from there move to Scotland and get a Shanghai visa and move elsewhere. So the reality of that, you cannot intend on with the reality. The policies we're talking about, the Japa syndrome, you think that policy will discourage people from moving from Nigeria. It's not going to discourage anybody, because America, US is not the only country that is economically viable. When we talk about Western countries and all that, there are other countries that people could also leverage on. So it's not going to, deter any Nigeria. As a matter of fact, as I speak with you, my brother, if I have opportunity, I will move. I will leave this country. Leave.
Now, it's also in the spirit of reawakening the need for what the government is calling the Nigerian First policy. How do we re-engender patriotism in Nigeria and also engender the youth who want to contribute towards nation building?
Good, I like that. Thank you so much. When you talk about nation building comes as a result of, patriotism. It comes as a result of nationalistic feeling. What is nationalistic feeling? That feelings of your country being so endeared to you that you want to fight for your country, you want to do everything for your country, you want to, the only time you could see that spirit of that nationalistic feeling is only during, during sport festivals or competition. For instance, when Nigeria is playing with England, you could see and also feel that impact of aside sport. Nothing is working. So I'm also advising the federal government to leverage more on the area of sports. Because sport more, but that is where the youth who are the young, they are you know, they are actually leveraging on that aspect of nation building. So trying to contribute their own quota in ensuring that we live in one. You'll be surprised that in the coming days, when they say to the sport festival now, there's a competition, they will walk up a lot of clamoring and clapping hands and Nigeria, we hear you and all that. But afterwards, what happened? We return back to the reality and we start praising our leaders and demanding for accountability and fighting. So in nation building, the government should develop in sport more, should also develop youth, enhance youth empowerment. There's a whole lot they should do to ensure that that spirit of that nationalistic feeling, that patriotic feelings is ignited in all Nigeria.
Now, in credit to the government, I don't know your assessments of efforts in getting the Niger Delta Games and the Gateway Games just concluded all in a single year calendar. These have been two major sporting events in Nigeria to maximize the potential of youths in sport-related ventures. How would you assess the performance and the efforts by the government in that regard?
Yeah, when you are putting up this kind of competition in 1 year, so what message are you trying to, to pass? I expected the federal government to have that competition done. Probably, you carry out one by moving the other year. But we know that actually by December, I think the Nation Cup it actually kickstart, and about December to January, there's going to be the Nation Cup competition on the standard aspect. But there are also ways of carrying out this competition in a way that the youth can be also actively involved, and that at least can also ignite that in them. So I think that is my assessment. So far, the policies, the competitions and all that actually is going to be a game changer in terms of nation building, in terms of igniting that nationalistic feelings among the youth.
Now, away from this, in terms of crime fighting, the NDLEA has received much media attention following its efforts in combating drug trafficking across Nigerian entry points, from the Port Harcourt airport to the international airports in Abuja and Lagos, and even the seaports in Onne as well. There have been huge consignments seized by the NDLEA. Of the agencies of government saddled with this responsibility, how would you assess the NDLEA's performance quite recently, especially under Brigadier General Buba Marwa retired?
Well, I think the NDLEA, they're trying their possible best. I have some of my friends I'm working with them, and they are doing a whole lot. Most especially, Nasarawa has some flashpoints to them working there. They are doing greatly well. Their efforts, the program around they are actually doing greatly well. And we also want to beg that the federal government to give them the necessary back support, because because they are doing a whole lot. There are some flashpoints in North Central, most especially, let me mention, in Nasarawa State. We have a lot of cases of that in Nasarawa State, and those guys are doing a whole lot. So when you fly the road from Abuja to Makodi, you discover that they are always there, day and night, ensuring that we have a free, infested, society with drug-related issues and all that. So they are doing very well.
Now, in closing, it's also conversations on preparations for 2027 as it concerns the Independent National Electoral Commission. There talks about having a new headquarters built by the FCTA here in Abuja, and also in the floor of the National Assembly, issues on electoral reforms as well. How would you assess this in terms of re-engendering voter participation in the next election cycle in Nigeria?
Yes. When we talk about the 2027 election, there is going to be a lot of political, apathy. You know why I say that? The hunger in the land is too much. And for the fact that the hunger is too much, there is a reality on that. And that is going to contribute to voter apathy. If the INEC can actually carry it out, I'm sure the INEC cannot be able to do this. The National Orientation Agency cannot be able to do this. The only people that can address this issue is the presidency. The president must, as a matter of urgency, he must, realign and also reevaluate his policies. Because if he continues this way, I'm giving you this information that there's going to be a lot of political apathy. People will not come out to vote. And even the people that will come out to vote, discover that they will come out and vote in anger. They will display in anger. And you know what that means for the presidency.
Well, we're talking about how to enhance voter participation. Do you believe that with the necessary electoral reforms, more Nigerians would be interested in a process that is free and fair and would reflect the majority choice of voters?
Well, the policy on the electoral policy presently put in place is actually commendable. Let me say it's actually highly commendable. But I'm also tying it down to the fact that you can't rule out the issue of political based on the reality on ground. That is what I'm saying. So if you are bringing up policies and people are hungry, they don't have money to eat, that policy is useless to them. So
but Nigerians have shown to be very resilient people, especially off the back of a military rule in 1991 and the need to transition to a democratically elected government. The June 12, 1993 elections continues to remain one of the examples many Nigerians point to on what Nigerians can achieve when they come out united en masse to cast their votes at the ballots. Do you think that, especially in a year where it has been admitted that the elections was unduly annulled, that Nigerians can pick off confidence from that and know that votes do really count? And if they didn't count, there would not be such attempts as to have voter inducements or even buy votes.
So what's the question? Say that again, please.
My question is in reference to the June 12, 1993 general elections and how Nigerians who united at the polls did see that votes can indeed count, particularly this year, since we have a book that has now confirmed that the elections were unduly annulled. Do you think that going down history, Nigerians can buy from that confidence and know that if they come out en masse to vote, that their votes can indeed count?
Nigerians can actually rebuild the confidence back when the right thing is done. You know, unresolved and unpunished crime are tacit invitation to further. In quote, unresolved and unpunished crime are tacit invitation to further crime. So what we are saying here, the people that are not the 2012 election, the brain behind that should be brought to book. The federal government should, as a matter of urgency, bring them to book. That is what we are calling. Once that is done, the confidence of the people, I assure you, will be united.
Well, Mr. Samuel Egboja, I must thank you for your time on the program this morning. We appreciate you for taking out time to join us to lend your thoughts to the issues making the rounds in the news.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.